What is up? In this video I'm going to be showing you all of my competitive classes for Call of Duty. These first four right here are all for Search and Destroy, and these bottom two, as you can see how they're titled, this one is for Blitz, this one is for Dom. So I'm going to get right into it. This first one I use is my standard AR class for Search and Destroy. This is for maps more like Warhawk or like Octane, where I know I'm going to be in long range engagements. I use the Remington R5 with grip and red dot, secondary as a P226 with a muzzle brake attachment, lethal, Semtex, tactical, concussion. Perks I use are ready up, quick draw, dead silence, and focus. I used to use this perk a lot, extra tactical, so I could carry 2 concussions, and for those of you who don't know, it has actually just been banned from MLG rules as of about 2 days ago. So that's why I've actually taken it off of the majority of my classes. I did use it quite a bit on these classes. This next one I'm going to show you guys is my standard submachine gun class. I like to use this more on maps like Sovereign or even Strike Zone. You guys know that map was just recently added to the list. I personally am not a fan of that, but what are you going to do? I use the Vector with grip and red dot, no lethal, no secondary either. Tactical I use as a concussion. Perks, ready up, agility, quick draw, dead silence, and focus. And I like to use agility on my subclasses just so I can get that more of a run and gun kind of feel, so that I'm a bit quicker as I go, and I feel that suits a submachine gun class a bit more than an AR class, and I think it kind of makes that class a bit more of a class where you would have an advantage, especially if you are running around a lot, not more of a stationary class. This third one is my incog thermal class. I also like to refer to it as the stealth class. The gun I use is the Remington R5 again, this time with thermal and grip, and I like the thermal because you can, for those of you who don't know, you can switch the thermal with circle and turn it right into a red dot sight, so you're not stuck with the thermal all the time. You have that option to use it as a red dot sight if that scenario were to come up. Now the perks I use can go one of two ways. The first one that I use is the one I prefer, especially because of the recent ban of this perk, as I mentioned before. The perks I use right now are ready up, quick draw, incog, dead silence, and focus. Now if you want to go the other way of the perk setup, you simply just deselect quick draw, put on a smoke, put on a Semtex, and put on a handgun. Not that attachment, that attachment. And the reason this class is so effective, especially with smoke, let's say you throw a smoke down or your teammates throw a smoke down, if you lay either in the smoke or behind the other side of the smoke where the enemies aren't, you have the advantage of the gunfight with the perk incog because they can't see you, especially if you have a thermal sight. You can see straight through the smoke, and if they're not using thermal, that's an easy free kill for you, and it pretty much gives you a really big advantage, especially if you are in that situation where you are going to have a smoke down or your team is going to have a smoke down. Next class I have is the speed class. I use this for getting to where I need to go as fast as I can get there, and just probably beat my opponents to where I need to go so I can hurry up and post up and get my positioning down before the enemies even show up. I like to use the MTAR with grip and muzzle for this class. No lethal, tactical is a concussion, and the perk setup is going to go ready up, agility, marathon, dead silence, focus, and resilience. I use that perk, or not that perk, that class a lot for going to the A-bomb towards on Octane. I use this perk, or why do I keep saying perk? I use this class a lot also on when I go B on Warhawk. Those are some scenarios where I do use this class. Now this next one I have is my Blitz class. Disclaimer, this class will not make you a god at Blitz, and do not think that these classes in any way will make you an amazing COD player. I'm just saying these are what work for me, and they probably will work for you. And so let's get right into this one. The Vector with a grip and muzzle brake attachment. Then I have lethal as a Semtex, tactical as a concussion. Perks I use for Blitz are ready up, marathon, agility, dead silence, and focus. And then my strike package, my specialist perks that I get when I earn a certain amount of kills, I actually really care about when I play blitz because I like to have them in a certain order. So since I don't have quick draw on that class already, I like to have that as my first perk that I get. Then second, I like to get ICU so I can regenerate my health faster. And lastly, I like to have steady aim because since I'm using a submachine gun, I like having that extra bit of accuracy that I can get. Lastly, I have my Domination class. Again, MTAR with grip and muzzle brake. I like to use this class as a run and gun type of a class because I think the MTAR is a bit more of a run and gun over the Vector, and those are the only submachine guns I use when I play competitive Call of Duty. Lethal, I use Semtex, and tactical, I use a trophy system. I used to use 2 until this perk was banned, and this is only for my role. If you're not a Slayer, I would recommend this class. If you are a Slayer, I would not, simply because the tactical as a trophy system is not something a Slayer would use. It's something that someone as my role as the flag hopper would use, because when I get on flags, I like to deploy a trophy system simply so that I can prevent people like me from killing me with Semtexes or frags, or even getting a concussion down on me, because you don't want anything interfering with you capturing that domination point, because that could honestly come between you winning the game for your team or not. So trophy systems are big if you are that role. If they're not that role, then don't use them. Perks I use in Dom are Ready Up, Quick Draw, Dead Silence, Focus, and Resilience. And then Specialist package, I use Agility first, then Sleight of Hand, and then Marathon. So these are all of my classes that I use for competitive Call of Duty. I hope they helped you in some way, and I hope they gave you some sort of an idea to make for your classes if you're just coming into the competitive world. Best of luck to you guys. Please subscribe, and please leave me feedback about what you guys think. Thank you for watching.